8th grade. So today we're going to review phase changes and phase change graphs. And when we talk about phase changes, we're going to start by talking about the three different phases of matter, which are solid, liquid, and gas. As you go from a solid to a gas, the amount of kinetic energy increases. So when you have a solid form, you have molecules very tightly packed together. They're vibrating in place, but there's not a lot of movement or energy. Once you get to a liquid, it's a little bit more free flowing and there's a little bit more movement. And then in a gas, the molecules are moving around, bouncing off of each other and the walls of any container they may be in. And so as you go from solid to gas, your energy increases. A solid has a definite shape and volume, and like I said, atoms vibrate in place. A liquid has a definite volume, but a liquid can take the shape of its container. So it doesn't matter what the shape is, but the volume will stay the same. And the atoms are, again, freely moving around. With the gas, there is no definite volume or shape, and the atoms are far apart and moving really quickly. When we talk about phase changes, we have these transitions, and this is when the energy forces of the atom change state. So you have melting, which is going from a solid to a liquid, evaporation, a liquid to a gas, condensation, gas to liquid, like when we talk about clouds, and freezing, liquid to back to solid. If you're thinking about water, at 0 degrees, we have ice melting, and this is called the freezing point. At 100 degrees, water boils, and this is what we call the boiling point. Flat lines on a graph mean that all the atoms have to wait before changing states. So you're in a transition from one to the next. Atoms and molecules are always in motion, and the amount of motion they're in is dependent upon the state of the matter. So when we talk about energy, the solid has the least amount of energy, to the liquid having more, and the gas having the most, where the atoms are moving around very quickly. So if we were to look at this graph, as heat energy increases across the bottom or temperature increases, you go from a solid and you have this melting point, and when things start to melt, and this flat bar is this transition where there's solid and liquid all present. Once you hit this incline again, that's when all molecules are now in the liquid phase. As it goes up, it then plateaus again, and this is where that boiling or evaporation is occurring, where there's still liquid and there's gas now in two. Once you hit this point, all becomes gas. And the same thing happens in the reverse, going from gas to liquid and liquid to solid. Go ahead and move on to your worksheets for today. Once you're done with those, you may be on Quizlet.